How to create smooth highlights in RawTherapee. Do you have highlights that look like this ugly thing in RawTherapee, or do you want to recover overexposed highlights? Here's how to do it. By the way, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Step 1. Make sure your exposure is properly set. Step 2. Turn on highlight reconstruction. In the method box, select color propagation. The other methods typically produce artifacts and are pretty much always worse, so ignore those. Occasionally, C-Lab and InPaint Opposed can do okay jobs, but I still think that in most cases, color propagation is vastly superior. For some images, this may be all you need, but for most, we need to do a bit more. Step 3. Highlight compression. There are 2 sliders that you need to change now. The first is highlight compression. Increase this slider until the edges in the highlights are softened to your satisfaction. If you notice weird, colorful halos around harshly backlit objects, go up to the blur slider and increase it until the halos go away. Note that the blur slider will only be available with the color propagation mode. Step 4. Highlight compression threshold. This slider controls exactly what range is considered a highlight. Increasing it will decrease the contrast in the transition to the highlights and can make the overall highlights area softer. Check for other areas in your photo where the highlights seem too compressed in step 3. Increasing the highlight compression threshold will also reduce this compression effect, making the highlight areas more natural. Step 5. Optional tone equalizer. You can further tune the look of the highlights with the highlights and white slider in the tone equalizer. Useful if the blown-out highlights seem too colorful. Pushing the white slider can also get rid of any remnant halos if they appeared in step 2. Step 6. Optional. If you still find that there are some weird colors in the highlights, check out this powerful tool called Lab Adjustments. You need to go to the chromaticity according to luminance curve or the CL curve. Click on the drop-down box and click Standard. Now you've got a curve that will allow you to control the saturation of your photo just in the highlights. Create a control node somewhere in the upper middle of the curve and then create another one on the top and decrease it. This will decrease the saturation just in the highlights and get rid of harsh artifacts there. The idea is that strong saturation is less visible in the highlights in real life, so decreasing the saturation in the highlights will make them more natural. That's it. You've learned how to soften highlights in RawTherapee. I hope this video helped you deal with harsh highlights in RawTherapee, but if it didn't, just use the sigmoid module in Darktable.